When I was a teenager, I started borrowing clothes from my mother instead of buying my own. I don't even know what made me try it the first time, but I did. I'd always been fascinated by her wardrobe, and I loved watching her get ready for a night out with my dad. The thing I liked most about her leggings was how smooth they made my legs feel and how shiny they looked when worn. I thought they were adorable. Whenever I was home alone for a short time, I'd sneak into my parents' bedroom and try on some of her dresses and pants. If I had more time alone, I'd do the same thing. While dressed in her clothes, I'd experiment with some of her makeup. One day, with extra time on my hands, I tried her blush and red lipstick. I wasn't great at it, but I had so much fun experimenting, and I loved the way it smelled. After a few months of borrowing her clothes, I realized I needed something more age-appropriate, fashion-wise. Since I had an older sister, I figured I could take things further by borrowing one of her outfits. But I had to wait for a time when both my parents and my sister would be out for the night. When the moment came, I went into my sister's room and searched through her closet until I found the outfit I was hoping for: a pale blue skirt, a silk blouse, and a matching blue jacket. I laid it all out on her bed and couldn't help but admire it. It was the kind of outfit any girl would love to wear, and I had always envied the way it looked on my sister. Today, it would finally be my turn. I rummaged through her dresser drawers until I found her undergarments. I also grabbed a pair of white tights from my own closet, ones I'd seen my sister wear. When I ran them through my hands, I couldn't get enough of how smooth and shiny they felt. With everything spread out on the bed, I couldn't help but feel excited, my hands shaking a little. As I dressed, I was eager to experience the transformation. After putting on the tights, I adjusted them, pulling them up until they fit snugly around my waist. They felt so different from the cotton boxers I usually wore. They were cut to sit higher on my hips, giving the illusion of more feminine curves. The pants were more form-fitting in the back, making my figure appear rounder and more feminine. I then put on a light satin bra and fastened it at the back. It didn't offer much support, but it felt delicate and soft. I sat on the couch and carefully pulled the tights up my legs, adjusting them to make sure they fit perfectly. I made sure everything fit properly. I climbed back onto the bed, slipping my feet into the skirt before sitting down again. Slowly, I stood up and pulled the skirt up to my waist. Reaching around, I zipped it up and felt it tighten around my hips and waist. I buttoned the blouse at the back, tucked it into the skirt, and slid my arms through the sleeves. When I looked in the mirror, I couldn't believe the transformation. After finding the perfect pair of blue shoes that matched my look, I eagerly slipped them on. The shoes were sleek with a thin heel, adding a touch of elegance. However, as I stood and took my first steps, I noticed they were a little more challenging to walk in than the flat shoes I usually wore. Undeterred, I adjusted the straps and secured them. As I looked down at my feet, a sense of pride washed over me. They completed the outfit perfectly. With the shoes in place, I quickly added the matching jacket, ready to leave the room. But then, something on my sister's dresser caught my eye: her makeup kit from earlier that day. Suddenly, I realized I hadn't finished my transformation. I hesitated for a moment, unsure if I could replicate the makeup routine my sister had perfected. But remembering all the times I'd watched her, I decided to try. I sat down in front of the mirror and began with a smooth base, applying CoverGirl foundation evenly across my face. For my eyes, I carefully blended eyeshadow, starting with a light shade on the upper lid and transitioning to a darker shade below. I applied several coats of dark mascara, working slowly to make my lashes long and thick. Then, I added a touch of pink blush to the high points of my cheeks, highlighting my cheekbones. Finally, I outlined my lips with a bold red pencil, filled them in with soft pink lipstick, and finished with a glossy lip gloss. When I looked at myself in the mirror after finishing my makeup, I was amazed by the difference. Despite my initial doubts, I had managed to create a look that was pretty and sophisticated. I felt more confident than ever before. With my makeup complete, I spent the next hour walking around the house, enjoying the feel of the light fabrics brushing against my skin. I practiced walking in my heels, adding a slight bounce to my step to avoid the awkwardness of my usual gait. I learned how to sit and move with grace, embracing a more feminine posture. Although being a girl meant embracing more responsibilities and details, I found that the benefits of embracing my femininity far outweighed any challenges. I gained confidence and learned how to present myself in a more polished way in various social situations. Ultimately, the experience of fully embracing my femininity was deeply fulfilling and rewarding. After a long day of trying on clothes and embracing my feminine side, I finally had the chance to unwind. I poured myself a glass of Coca-Cola and settled down on the couch. Grabbing the remote, I switched on the TV, ready for some light, mindless entertainment. As I sipped my drink, the bubbles tickled my tongue and the sweetness lingered on my taste buds, bringing a sense of contentment. I sank deeper into the couch cushions, appreciating the simple pleasures of life. As I flipped through the channels, nothing seemed to catch my attention. That's when I noticed something unusual. Bright red lipstick had smudged on the rim of my glass. I couldn't help but laugh. It was a small reminder of the transformation happening within me. What had started as a playful experiment was evolving into something more. Each day, I felt more comfortable embracing the role of a woman. In my dreams, I was fully transformed into a stunning young woman, complete with makeup, high heels, and a beautiful wardrobe. I felt confident and empowered, with a sense of femininity that was both exhilarating and freeing. One night, I dreamt of myself standing in public, admiring my reflection in a gorgeous dress, eagerly awaiting my boyfriend for our first date. When I snapped back to reality, I wondered if this was a sign of something deeper. Was I meant to be a woman all along? These thoughts lingered in my mind as I explored my evolving identity. Despite the uncertainty, there was a sense of excitement and curiosity about what the future might hold. Perhaps it was time to delve deeper into this side of myself. What kind of woman would I become? What kind of life would I lead? I continued to dream about our first date. What would we do? Would we go to a movie? Would he kiss me, or was he expecting something more? Check out my Patreon for more.